Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Coffee and Wrestling. I'm Jamie.
And I'm Mark.
Oh, you don't have quite the enthusiasm that I do.
You caught me a little bit off guard. You went a little quicker than I expected, and I was about to take a sip of my coffee. I figured I had like another 8 seconds before I had to say something. But
this is great, though, because he yelled at me because I opened
I
up
didn't
some...
yell.
He doesn't yell at me. He got upset with me because I opened up a pack of gummies. Just some straight up Welch's gummies. No, they're not my kids'
I
snacks.
look over at Jamie and I say, "Hey, you're ready to record?" And she looks over at me and she, with a mouthful of chewed up grape gummies,
Did I have a mouthful of gummies when I did this lovely intro?
Of course not.
No. All right. Well, at any rate, thank you for joining us. And we are going to be covering, honestly, we're not really covering anything.
No.
We're actually
making a quick one.
We're going to make it a quick one, but we're going to make it a fun one. And this is not going to be the only episode that's going to be coming up over the next few days.
No, this will be our predictions episode for AEW Revolution.
Yes.
Which is going to be, by the time you're hearing this will debut that morning of AEW Revolution.
Yes.
I almost messed up my words there. So we're going to put our predictions out there, and then we're going to have another episode come out on Tuesday morning because Jamie is going to be a tired little monkey. She has to work all day Sunday, and then we have to watch AEW Revolution. Won't be able to get to an actual recording box machine until Monday afternoon. So a little bit delayed. We've had our normal schedule of Monday morning posts.
It's been good. Yeah, it's been
great.
Pretty consistent.
I think we're going to kind of stick with that, hopefully. But yeah, we're going to be doing our predictions for AEW Revolution, one of the probably biggest revolutions since, since last year's Revolution, the year before that.
Revolution's always a really fun one. I think it's kind of a personal, obviously favorite of ours. We were at 2022 Revolution in Orlando, which was a blast.
No, it was 2022. 2023. 2022. This is 2023.
This is 2023.
I've had too much coffee already.
We went to 2022
so yes,
Revolution.
It has been a full wrestling year since we went to AEW Revolution.
And a lot's changed.
Oh, yeah.
A lot's changed.
But we're seeing some familiar faces. John Moxley, Adam Hangman, Adam Page.
Adam Page.
By
the way, did you see the graphic that they put out for that match?
Are you talking about the animated,
Not even the animated one. They put out, hop on your Twitter boxes, children. There is an awesome graphic. I'll pull it up when you're talking.
Follow us at CAW Wrestling Pod.
Ooh, nice plug. Hop on there and check out this dope little graphic. Whoever's in charge of these AEW graphics, touche.
I think if I remember right, I can't. Oh God, you read so much wrestling news and there's so many wrestling facts.
Yeah.
I think Ric Flair's half daughter or stepdaughter does the social media marking for AEW.
I believe that also is correct, but I don't think she necessarily does
that because I couldn't remember
graphics for it. I think she just does.
No, but I'm sure she has something to do with it. But the whole social media team is phenomenal with AEW. But you gotta be nowadays.
Put out this really cool graphic. I'll do my best to slaughter vocal reenactment of it, basically John Moxley's standing there and you
it's a video, not I was thinking,
no, it's
okay,
a picture.
okay.
It's a picture.
It's a picture.
You see basically Hangman from behind, so you only see his back, and he's got the gun shooting up in the air, and it looks like kind of like a Western outlaw, we're gonna shoot it out kind of thing. But
some
then
cowboy
it's
shit.
the perspectives, some cowboy shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the perspectives are really cool. A+ to the AEW team. The live graphics are sweet. I mean, of course, they totally ripped it off from WWE, but that's cool. They did a great job with it.
They did, but I don't know if anybody ever saw the development of it. Somebody made the claim on Twitter, why is AEW not making their own animated graphics or animated fight cards? And somebody said, well, if they're not going to do it, I will. And they took it upon them. And I'm sure it took them an hour to probably put together. And they posted it. And Tony Khan replied, wow, that's really well put together and really a good idea. And then lo and behold, the next pay-per-view, they started doing the animated fight cards.
And they haven't stopped. It's just
so
good.
It's such a good idea, especially with sorry, I got the hiccups, with current social media trends. And, you have, the presence of wrestlers is huge on social media. So having stuff like that catches your eye, that really makes you stop and kind of go wow, they put a lot of time and effort into it. It's phenomenal. Even WWE, they're just as good with putting together graphics for fights and for pay-per-views and for promotional events. It's really a cool concept that AEW is really taking the ball with.
I mean, you might as well take advantage of social media. That's just how people are communicating. It's free.
Oh, it's huge.
I mean, you'd be silly not to. I love that about Tony Khan. He's always tweeting and talking about things. Of course,
I mean,
there's always a huge announcement from him. But
I mean, how many independent wrestlers have been signed to major promotions almost based strictly on social media? I mean, Danhausen's one of the biggest examples.
Totally.
Towards the end of the pandemic, everybody was like, "Yo, you need to sign Danhausen, sign Danhausen,
Absolutely.
sign Danhausen."
I mean, he didn't get signed, and he's not an AEW guy, but Luigi Primo got like months of star power from one video that took off and just got shared everywhere on Twitter.
Oh yeah. And he's always going to have, like, this little star next to him now. Oh, that's Luigi Primo. He was on AEW. He's got the gimmick
Exactly.
now.
All because he threw a pizza crust in someone's face.
Wow.
Here's the picture. I'll go ahead and retweet it and throw it up on Coffee and Wrestling's Twitter. Hop on there if you haven't seen it. I'll retweet it right now so you can see it.
That's good.
Really good. So why don't we just get into it?
Jump right into it. Okay, well, we're going to start with the pre-show. We've got 2 matches for the pre-show. We've got... We'll start off with my personal favorite, Mark Briscoe and the Lucha Brothers.
Yeah, that was just announced on Rampage.
We'll be taking on Ari Davari and the Varsity Athletes. Mark Sterling has been an advocate for, he believes that Mark Briscoe... I think
that was a word.
Advocate?
I think you skipped over it a little bit, but
we don't talk about...
You're good.
This is a talking media. We don't talk about how I talk. But he believes that Mark Briscoe has somehow hired the Lucha Brothers to help him.
He said they were his brothers.
Something like that. Like, I don't know how that would be much of an issue. But, I'm excited. I'm being dumb.
I mean, we obviously recently just were able to be a part of the first 2 TV tapings of ROH.
Yes.
And we got to see a lot of Ari Davari.
And to hear our
perspective, kept coming out. It was
great. To hear our perspective on that, if you listen to last week's episode, we did an entire episode all about our experience at ROH in Orlando. So
exactly.
Please check that one out.
Yeah,
if you're curious.
If you haven't watched,
should be. It's so good.
If you haven't watched the episode from this week, definitely watch it. If you want to hear some spoilers about it, like he said, go ahead and listen to the podcast. But having a lot of experience with, I just have to say, obviously being at a live event, it's just totally different. If you've been to any kind of sports event, you see people on TV, especially when I'm talking about obviously wrestling. And it seems like they're so good at working the crowd, but then you're able to be live and see Mark Sterling is so good with the crowd.
He does a phenomenal
and
job.
I love Ari and I love the Varsity Athletes. There's no way they're winning that one.
I gotta agree with you. I'm going with Mark and the Lucha Brothers.
Yeah, this is too 100%. Feel good. He said they're his bros, and we're gonna let him lose. No, that's not a good way to start off the pay-per-view.
No.
That's gonna go to my boys, the Briscoe. Mark Briscoe.
Yes. One half of the ROH Tag Team Champions, which I'm sure they're going to be doing something with very shortly because he can't hold on to that title for too long. Mm-hmm. Got to do something with the tag titles.
The only thing, and I've thought about this.
A single individual holding both titles.
I think the only thing that is respectful and makes sense that we, hopefully, and I think Mark seemed like a understanding person, is that you retire that belt.
Tag titles?
You make them a different belt. You redesign
the
physical, the tag titles.
Belt. Like,
you make
that, I see what you're saying.
Almost like the.
It's like you can't not. You was like, you gonna retire the tag titles from the division?
You pull the Gretzky.
I got you.
You retire the number.
Jersey.
You retire the jersey. Yep.
I got you. That could be a good thing.
You make
That'd be a good
thing. It's a good time for a new championship and just kind of say the old ones.
Well, speaking of tag team action, we have another tag team in the pre-show. And speaking of ROH champions, we have your ROH World Champion and your ROH Pure Champion. Claudio and Wheeler Yuta will be taking on the Dark Order, John Silver and Alex Reynolds. And I cannot see this going the Dark Order's way in any way, shape, or possible.
Okay. Why not?
Because how are you going to put a tag team over that has barely won anything in the past year over 2 champions of an entire brand?
Because they're trying to push John Silver and Alex Reynolds.
That's great, but there's no way they're going to win.
I don't know about that.
I'm 100% putting my eggs in the Claudio Yuta.
Okay, basket. I mean, that's cool, but these are ROH guys.
Wonderful.
I'm going to go the opposite.
They're still champions. Okay.
They are champions. They are ROH champions.
Okay.
I think this is a great time to put over John Silver and Alex Reynolds.
Oh, of course. I'm not saying it's not.
I love that they've, again, redid their music.
And they've got a little bit more, a little bit of new breath ever since Evil Uno took on John Moxley. Yeah. He's actually commented and said ever since he fought Jon Moxley, it's reawoken something in him, so maybe we will see a push for him, but I couldn't see them getting this win over these two.
It's a pre-show.
It is a pre-show, so everybody will be able to watch that.
Anything's possible. Yeah, they do that on YouTube before the show, right? So that usually starts at 7.
You can either watch it on YouTube, or if you've ordered the pay-per-view, they'll play it during or previously before the pay-per-view.
Right,
so you don't have to swap over once it goes from the pre-show to the actual pay-per-view, which if you haven't been watching these pay-per-views, AEW puts on a hell of a pay-per-view.
They're almost too long.
Oh, for sure. Especially if you're there. When we were there last year, my ass hurt.
Was 5 hours of wrestling. And listen, I'm blessed. Every time I go to an AEW, ROH, anything, I'm like, Tony Khan, bless you. You give us so much entertainment for so little. I'm very appreciative. But what are we at? 10 matches?
I believe, including pre-show, we have 10 total.
A lot. And we're talking about one of them is going to be 1 hour.
Guaranteed 1 hour.
Let's not start there. Let's talk about the first match that will be I don't know if this is the actual lineup, but I don't know if this is first match.
This is just the list that I had, and I kind of wrote it down.
So we're going to start off with our predictions for the AEW Women's World Championship match between the champion Jamie Hayter, Saraya, and Ruby Soho.
All right, so there's been a bunch of rumblings between, I guess, all three of these individuals in their own sense. You've got Saraya, who's been teaming up with Toni Storm, kind of being the super heels, outsiders of the war, or they're the outsiders. I get them confused. Kind of wreaking havoc on the women's division, which is apparently only these three women, and then Hikaru Shida every once in a while. You also have Jamie Hayter, who's always hanging out with Britt Baker, former AEW Women's Champion. She is the AEW Women's Champion as of right now. They are the AEW originals, and then you also have Ruby Soho, who's kind of caught in the middle, who at this point has now just come out saying, I don't give a shit about it being an original, being an outsider, I just want my fucking belt.
You also have Britt and Jamie, who have been more face as of lately, so it seems like the roles have kind of reversed in that perspective.
Right.
And then Ruby is just somewhere in between. I feel like
she's super over as a face right now. But,
the aggression is almost like a heel aggression,
Well, she did come check in on Britt Baker after she got attacked one of the thousands of times backstage, and kind of was kind of putting the hand out there of hey, how you doing? I know we don't really agree, but my enemy is your enemy. Sure. We're friends and whatever, and kind of got blown back in her face. But where do you think this is going? Do you think Jamie Hayter is going to lose her championship at Revolution?
Absolutely not.
No, you don't. You're going with Hayter?
I'm going with Hayter. I feel like no shade to anybody. Personally, since Britt Baker, I don't think there's been a really good run in the AEW Women's Championship division. I feel like it was a little bit weird for Tony.
Okay.
And I think Thunder Rosa started out great, but just the momentum just blew up.
It was unfortunate, because it seems like the backstage politics seem to have overshadowed the championship run.
And then
I feel like that could be applied to another situation. But then there's the injury.
I even saw the new AEW, was it All Access? I saw a preview for it, and it looks like Britt Baker's even the women's division is on hiatus because Thunder Rosa's hurt.
Right.
So it's that really was a big thing.
And there has been reports lately that apparently Thunder Rosa went back to the AEW locker room, was like, hey, I fucked up. I keep hitting my mic, damn it. I fucked up, let's talk about it. And apparently they, hashed it out. And apparently everything's fine now. So it'd be nice to see. I know she's been more active on the Spanish announce team, not the actual wrestling faction that is in both independent and now apparently whatever. But she's been more active in a announcer role, which I think is good for her. She's a very knowledgeable person in wrestling, and to have her on the microphone,
energetic with her voice.
But I would love to see her back. I do like Thunder Rosa.
I do too.
But I agree with you. I feel like her entire championship run was just it was
kind of weird. She'd come out and do the very lackluster short promos that didn't have any ass behind them, and it just got really weird. So I feel like Jamie Hayter finally filled that position. She's so over. People love her. Yeah. Why would you mess that up right now?
I tend to agree. And I don't think that she's going to drop the title. But if I had to choose somebody that would, I think Ruby Soho is in line to do something. I feel like she has been teased with every championship. She has gone for the women's. She's gone for the TNT or the TBS championship.
Right.
I'm sorry. I mean, she's tried her damnedest, and they've just not put the strap on her.
I've heard the rumors are she's going to be facing Jade.
Okay, I could see that. But yeah, I've got to agree. I think Jamie Hayter's going to leave with the belt.
She's just too over and doing too well in that position. I feel like it would be so silly to just yank that out.
Plus, you still have that underlying storyline of the outsiders and the originals kind of going against each other.
And she has said that she wants to be like Thunder Rosa, and she wants to be like a fighting champion, and she wants to defend it in different places and things like that. So for her only to defend it a handful of times would be really odd.
Yeah, I've got it. I can't see.
Plus, I'm biased and I love Jamie Hayter.
Yeah.
let's
everything.
be real.
You got to remember, everything we say in this podcast is we're biased.
I mean, come on, you can't help it. But
all right,
I think that's what's best for business too. Let's be real. All right, so that's a unanimous Jamie Hayter on that one. Then
it's gonna be
all right. This one, I don't know. Got Samoa Joe and Wardlow. And I don't know what we're doing here.
For the TNT Championship.
Yes.
Now, Samoa Joe has claimed he is the king of TV because he is not only the TNT champion, he's also the ROH TV champion.
Yes.
We watched him at ROH, and he beat the absolute hell out of
Tony Deppen.
Spoiler. But, yeah, he is definitely the king of something. And Wardlow, we haven't seen him since he lost his belt. I don't see Wardlow getting the belt, though.
I don't either, but I feel like poor dude can't take another loss.
I agree.
I'm not saying that like the momentum's completely gone if we go that way.
But the momentum's completely gone if we go that way.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like it's time for him to graduate away from this. Not that it's, a belt beneath anybody, but I think it's time to, if anything, Joe puts up a fight, makes Wardlow look really strong, gets the win over Wardlow, and have Wardlow move on to bigger and better things, whether it's a different rivalry, whether it's to go for the AEW Championship against MJF, whether it's or Bryan Danielson, depending on the results of this pay-per-view.
I think that's the tough thing, and I think that's going to be an issue for Jade when she finally does lose. It's like, after going so long of just decimating your opponents, how do you come back from that and just do the day-to-day grind? Like, that's tough.
Well, I mean, that's where your storytelling's got to come in. That's where you've got to create storylines that is not based completely around your championship. And it's hard to do, to give two stars a common goal and have them clash in order to get there without putting something shiny in front of them in order to give them the storyline motivation. It's got to be something that's got to be, a rivalry that's developed over a storytelling process. And I feel like that's the one part that we're looking at AEW that kind of lacks a little bit is, and I hate agreeing with Bully Ray, and, but he's even said it a lot, to where the long-term storytelling, this is where your small spurts of championship, runs, whether it's somebody trying to go for the belt after 3 weeks, i.e. Ruby Soho with the TBS championship, or, anything like that. And this is where your storytelling has got to come in and elevate your stars and put them, put two people against each other, or two tag teams or two factions against each other, and give them like the audience a reason other than a championship in order to, I want to watch this, what I mean? And I think that's what we're doing. That's where we're stuck with Wardlow right now, is you want to give him that belt because that's what the storyline he's been based around his entire, since he's been separated from MJF. You need to give him a storyline. I think he's going to have to lose this match in order to move on to something else. You're going to have to pull some momentum out from underneath him in order to elevate
build him
up,
or pull out the carpet.
It's an unfortunate thing. I just think you've painted him into a corner at this point. You've taken him so far off TV for so long that you've just, like you've said, taken the momentum away. Right.
So you're going that Wardlow's going to lose and Samoa Joe's going to retain?
Yeah.
Agreed. I don't think it's a good time for Samoa Joe to drop it again, because he dropped it to Darby Allin when he was in Seattle and then immediately got it back.
Right.
So I think it would be good for him to hold it on to it until the time is right. What's funny is you talk about there not being a lot of long-term storyline, but looking at this list of matches, one of the storylines that's been going for the longest is this 4-way tag match that so many people are just hating on.
Oh, I know.
I mean, the Acclaim, the Guns, Danhausen. Like, if you know anything about these guys have been, it's since like the Jericho cruise like 2 years ago. Danhausen's been basically messing with the Ass Boys, the Gun Club.
So they've got a bone to pick with them. And I mean, Orange Cassidy pisses everybody off.
Obviously. So. And then the Acclaimed obviously have had a lot of run-ins with the Guns recently.
They were at one point aligned with the Guns, and then slowly, Daddy Ass decided to disown his own children and adopt the Acclaimed.
Yes, his true children.
And then you got JJ and Jay Lethal, they just hate everybody and they just want everything for themselves. So it doesn't matter who they're in the ring with, they hate them anyways.
Yeah.
But even then, they have storyline between every one of these tag teams.
Yeah, and it's a long storyline, and I think a lot of people, like I said, are just really hating on it. But I said this on Twitter. There's just a lot of like really brutal hardcore matches, like 60-minute matches, Iron Man matches. There's the match with Christian Cage and Jungle Boy,
which is now, I'm pretty sure, a buried alive match.
Yeah, like that's going to be pretty brutal.
I think they called it Freshly Buried,
something like that.
Something goofy, and but I think it's just another name of a buried alive match because he's holding a shovel and talking about burying him.
The whole dirt. Say hi to my dad.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that. We've also got,
at any rate, but
a Texas death match between Jon Moxley and
Hangman
Adam Page.
There's going to be just blood everywhere. So there's so many like just intense, brutal, holy shit moments. There's going to be so many things to stand out.
Right.
I think this is going to be the match that they're going to throw in there, and everybody's just going to laugh their asses off. There's going to be guitars smashed everywhere, curses left and right, scissors from everybody. Like, it's just going to be absolutely ridiculous, and I don't think this match is for the wrestling. I think it's for pure entertainment.
So who do you think is going to win out of the four of them? We've got the tag titles on the line. There's storyline between Guns and the Acclaimed about the tag titles. Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal have been talking mad shit about getting those belts. You've got the Guns, who are them. You've got Orange Cassidy and Danhausen, who are like the wild cards from out of left field, by the way.
But hold on. Remember when Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett won the belts?
Oh, yeah.
For like a minute?
Yep. And then like, wait a minute, that didn't count. He wasn't the legal man or something?
My butt cheeks were clenched so hard. No, they were cheating.
Happy. Oh, that's right.
They were cheating, and I think Aubrey came out and was like, redo it. So they started over the match, and then the Acclaimed one. That was hilarious. But gut feeling, I feel like this is going to be the Acclaimed to win it back.
Okay.
And I feel like it was all just to have the Acclaimed win in the first place, but just to have a good time. Everybody has the feel good moment. I don't know.
I haven't given this one a lot of thought. And I was hoping by the time you were done with your prediction, that I'd be able to figure it out.
One of those when the waitress comes by, you're like, you order first, and then you're like, shit, my turn.
Oh man, this one's a hard one.
Yeah.
Who do I want to see win?
You going burger? You going steak?
Who do I want to see win? The mark in me, not like my name, but like the term.
Yeah.
I would love to see Orange Cassidy and Danhausen just because I want to see the Twitter meltdown of having the guy who puts his hands in his pocket.
They're
and
not
the clown.
good.
Oh my god, I want to see it. I would love to see the Acclaimed get their belts back again because everybody loves the Acclaimed, including me.
Of course.
I would love to see the Guns keep it because I think, honest to God, even though nobody really wanted them to get the belts, I'm super excited that they got the belts because they're so charismatic and they're so good at just getting under your skin. And they're those types of individuals that you're just like, oh my God, I cannot stand them. And then you've got Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal. And I think that they would be the most ultimate heels to get the belts.
Exactly. It would be an entertaining run.
I think that, honestly, the Guns are going to retain.
Okay. That's fun. I think at this point, it doesn't really matter. I just think we all need to just enjoy the laugh, enjoy the chair spots and the guitars. And
you say it's not a gimmick or it's not a hard-hitting match or anything, but this is going to be 4 tag teams going at it. There's going to be so much shit going on.
So many low blows.
It may not be a hard-hitting, bloody, weapon-infested match, but this is going to be... It's going to be a spot fest. There's no other way to put it. If you don't like this style of wrestling, I highly suggest you go run down to McDonald's, grab yourself a cheeseburger, go to fucking Taco Bell and get some nachos because you're not going to like this fucking match. There's just no other way to put it. Like, if you don't like AEW, like the wrestling, not treating it like an actual like MMA style, sport, and putting some ridiculous Danhausen cursed antics and Orange Cassidy hands in his pockets and the Acclaim scissoring.
I think all of these guys are great.
I think they're great, but I know a lot of people don't like that style of wrestling, and I think that you're not gonna. If you don't like that style of wrestling, you're not gonna like this match. But it's gonna be for the people. Oh yeah, for the people who enjoy it, I think it's gonna be one of the most entertaining matches.
Can't miss it.
But I think one of the matches I'm looking forward to the most, and I don't know. I couldn't hide my fanboyness on this if I wanted to. I have records of this man on my wall. I've bought merch of a couple of these guys. Mm-hmm. We have the Elite will be defending their trios tag titles against probably their most formidable foe in the defense of these trio tag titles is the House of Black, Buddy Murphy, Malachi Black. And my personal favorite, and one of the ones that keeps bringing me back to AEW wrestling is Brody fucking King.
And it's really funny because if you don't like Danhausen but you like Brody, these guys hang out all the time.
Oh yeah. Well, what's funny is they hang out with fucking Ethan Page too. Like they're all fucking a bunch of action figure nerds.
Uh-huh.
Like if anybody knew like how like the music that Danhausen listens to. And then the activities that Brody King gets into as just an adult, as Nathan, not Brody King,
exactly.
Like not
Singer for God's Hate,
But then you see him in glasses in a Jason Voorhees t-shirt, buying Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle action figures.
I think Danhausen's favorite band is Code Orange.
Code Orange, yep.
They're just different people. They just are really good at their gimmick.
But
Brody is so intimidating, though. That is no gimmick.
I've got a shirt of his, and it says "Violence is the answer," and 100%. I don't know what questions he's asking, but I don't think he is. He's just answering with violence. Yeah. I love Brody King's style of wrestling.
Same.
Ever since I was a kid, like that was big meaty men hitting as hard as they can, trying to rip their opponent's head off. That is like my bread and butter when it comes to wrestling. And boy, howdy, does fucking Brody King itch that scratch for me.
And I just love watching Brody King fight all these guys in NJPW.
Oh, yeah.
These Japanese guys, same like Eddie Kingston, where you're just getting that strong style of fighting, and you get this just huge dude fighting like, I don't even know.
Like an absolute maniac.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It's just insane.
This match is going to be probably one of the biggest spot fests. Because you got the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, who just love doing every one of their signature Meltzer drivers, their one-winged angels, V-triggers, their BTE trigger.
Right.
You've got, oh my God.
These guys don't have the House of Black aren't coming with the pizzazz. They're not coming in for the 5-star match.
Nope.
They're coming in so that they beat you so hard you can't come back for another 3 months.
Yeah.
And face them for their titles one more time because
there's no way they're gonna. I
think this is gonna be a title change.
I can't see the House of Black not leaving with the titles.
I agree.
100%. I think the Elite, and I hate dipping into like the backstage politics, but I know the Elite and Kenny Omega's contracts are slowly coming to an end with AEW. I'm not stating that I believe that they're going to leave AEW, but at the same time, like, God, I think House of Black is in a position, and the Elite are in a position that it's really good time to transfer those titles over and give somebody a new reign with them. I think
that's something I really like about AEW is it seems like the guys that have been around for a while aren't afraid to put the younger guys over. And not that these guys are super young. I mean, obviously Malachi Black's been wrestling for a while. Buddy Murphy did his thing for a while in WWE. And
Brody King's only been doing it for
pretty
what,
dope
3 years?
Run. He's only done this for a few years.
4 years?
You know, them together and they're in AEW.
Came from ROH.
It's just incredible. Like I've been hoping for this for a while. Now everybody's in good health. Obviously super stoked to see everybody on board with, the rumor mill of Twitter and online trolls saying that, those guys were going to be leaving AEW to go to WWE too. But
and they quickly came back.
Yeah, I mean, Malachi just said he needed some mental time, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
I can understand it.
Sometimes you got to step away and get your priorities straight, and good on Tony Khan for letting him and Buddy take that time to do it.
For sure.
But they're there. I mean, both of their girls are there killing it. Zelina is Malachi Black's wife, who just, wow. I mean, she doesn't do as much wrestling as I would like to see. I think she's such a talented wrestler. But obviously, Buddy's girl is just killing it over there, Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, she's doing great in WWE.
Absolutely. So, I mean, I think if they wanted to go to WWE, they would have done that already.
Yeah. No, I'm.
So,
they seem like they're perfectly fine where they are.
Yep.
For now.
Take those belts. Hopefully they're big enough to go around these guys' waist. Strap them
Gonna
on.
have to get the extension. For
House of Black. Yeah. It's fine. They'll throw them over their shoulder and go home. I don't think they're too worried about it.
Landing pretty low on my priorities of matches for the evening is going to be Chris Jericho versus Ricky Starks, which is unfortunate for me to say because I love Starks. But I just feel like, we've pulled out the dead horse and we've been beating it for about 2 months now.
Over and over.
I don't know.
I can't see why this match is happening. And I'm happy to hear that Chris Jericho said that this is the end. Just as I'm happy to hear that WrestleMania is oh my God. Hopefully the last time we'll see Finn Balor and Edge.
Nope.
I just can't.
Nope. We'll see another 2 more matches.
Oh, I just can't do that either. And this is just as bad. One of those, like you said, go to the gas station, get what you need, buy a pack of gum, and come back. Like, I'm not super invested in this. I can't see why Chris would win this. What does Chris Jericho need this win for? I don't understand.
Well, the JAS is barred from ringside. And I listened to AEW Restricted today with Tony Khan. They were talking about Revolution before the pay-per-view, obviously. And I'll tell you what, you want to talk about a guy who really was trying to drive a point home? Tony Khan was really trying to drive the point home. The JAS was not allowed at ringside.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it was...
Yeah. Are they going to put them in a shark cage and suspend them above the ring again?
I don't know. They're going to have to make those rings a little bit tighter because last time they just had to slip through the bars.
That's because Ty couldn't get them out.
I think Starks is going to get this win.
I can't see it going any other way.
Yeah, I think they're going to have some like ringside bullshit antics to where somebody that's not in the JAS is going to come out, and I've heard theories that it's going to be Action Andretti, and who's going to double cross Starks, but I don't know. Again, I've just heard rumors. It's not like I'm saying that's what. I don't think that's what's going to happen, but I think there might be some ringside antics. Let's find a better opponent
for Ricky Starks.
Yeah, for sure.
There's enough guys back there. Let's find a better opponent for Starks.
But I think we're both in agreement. Starks are going to get that one.
Yeah, this one I don't really know about either. I got to be honest.
Yeah, it's a storyline that's, not...
I mean, it's got to come to an end.
Yeah.
It's got to come to an end.
And I think that's what this is. And we talked about this. Like, I feel like this is just a rivalry, quote-unquote, that has been delayed severely by injuries.
Right. It's not Christian's fault he got hurt.
Well, it's not. I mean, he got hurt. Jungle Boy got hurt. Now there's this whole ordeal with Luchasaurus and his mask, and he can't have it on T-shirts, or it's in a lawsuit. So I think it's just, this has been one of those ones that's been plagued over and over again by injuries and just forces outside of the storyline. And I think they're just trying to sew this one up and get it done and over with.
Like I said, the promo that they had on, was it Dynamite this week?
Yes.
Was great. I mean, Christian always does a great job on the mic, but then they cut to Jack Perry, who was like you said, he had the shovel. He's digging up something.
Oh, he was digging up a grave.
Yep. And then said something like, "Say hi to my dad," which was just...
Yeah, he was going to... I think that's... And then they named it, like, it's something ridiculous. I don't remember what...
I don't remember exactly what it was, but...
But yeah, I think
just says
Jungle Boy...
Barred, yeah.
I think Jungle Boy's going to take it. I can't see why Christian would get the win again, even though he just returned.
We got to build steam for Jack Perry, not Jungle Boy. Jack Perry.
And I think
Jack Perry needs to win this match.
I think they need to end this storyline and, like you said, just move on with Jack Perry and elevate him to something better. Stop tagging him with a random hook. Yeah,
let Christian get buried, but let Jungle Boy go with him. You hear me? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's let Jack Perry be the winner of that and move on.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Let's bury Jungle Boy too. And not that I don't like Jungle Boy. I think he's great. But it's one of those things that, like, how old are you going to be as a boy?
Right. It's like, how long are you going to be Robin until you change your outfit into your Nightwing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you can only be this...
Gets a little candy ass when you're 30 and you're Jungle Boy.
You're still wearing the red tights.
Yeah. So...
I agree. I think Jungle Boy... I think Jack Perry's going to win.
Yes.
Christian's going to take the loss like the veteran that he is. And then hopefully we will see something with Luchasaurus. Maybe he's going to be repackaged. Who knows? It's a shame, though. I love Luchasaurus, though.
I'm on team repackage.
Yeah.
And I like Luchasaurus, too. Repackage.
Man, I don't know. I used to love when he come out and he'd say, "Hi, Mom."
I thought it was hilarious, and he
great.
was always like, I'm 8 million years old, or I thought it was hilarious. I just, obviously, wrestling fans don't like joke wrestlers.
It worked for a little bit, and it's funny because that name was not even like a thing that he came up with. You told me that
the whole story about he was in AAA and they
just started chanting Luchasaurus because they didn't know his name.
He had like a dragon mask on. That's what he thought they were saying. Yeah, because he was a dinosaur and Lucha, so that's what he thought they said, and he just ran with it.
Well, it stuck for a good while, but maybe it is time to put the dinosaur out to pasture.
Yeah,
make it an extinct idea. I don't know. I was
think
trying to think of something punny there, and I'm not punny.
We bury that gimmick alive too, because then that's perfect. That settles your mask debate.
Yeah, right. And then there's no more mask, and
there's no more
problem.
mask. I mean, it's just another. Not that he's a super attractive guy, but he's not a bad looking dude. I mean, this dude's been on Big Brother. It's not like he'd
do fine without the mask.
He would do fine without the mask. It's just like 10.
Yeah.
You think, oh, ugly dude behind the mask. No. So let's kibosh that one.
So what will more than likely be either the opening match or one of the main events, because obviously the 60-man Iron Man match is going to be the main event of Revolution. It's already been announced by Tony Khan on AEW Unrestricted. And I don't know, they probably announced it already, but it doesn't matter. But probably one of the most violent matches that's going to be of the night is Jon Moxley taking on Hangman Adam Page in, I think it's the fourth match between the two of them. It is a Texas death match. And if you don't know what the rules are of a Texas death match, it is a no disqualification, no hold bar match where, now I don't know how AEW is doing it, but originally you would have to pin your opponent, and on top of pinning your opponent would also have to stay down for a full 10 count.
Right.
Now, I do know they kind of sometimes do it as a last man standing match in certain promotions or certain times. So I don't know what the exact rules that AEW will be using. I'm sure they'll probably end up using the classic, 3 count plus the 10, which is a long time to be down. It's more than even just a last man standing match. And these two have had quite a bloodied history between the two of each other. Hangman being famously knocked completely silly and getting a concussion, I think, on their rubber match between the two of them in a very unsuccessful manner. I'm expecting to see this to be a pretty hard-hitting, bloody match. And I don't know who's going to win.
I don't either.
I don't know which way they're going to go with it. I know you're a little bit annoyed with the repetitive of this
I'm okay
match.
with it because I know it's going to be a great match. And I always try to keep an open mind in life, but I really try to keep an open mind with wrestling. A lot of times these things are planned. There's a reason why they do these things the way that they do. At this point, Jon Moxley is producing matches. Like, he knows what he's doing.
Right.
AEW knows what they're doing. So you just have to believe that the story is there and you just have to be along for the ride. So I'm okay with it as long as it's like a really good, you have to have like a stipulation or something. It's like Cody Rhodes and Malachi Black. They had like 4 matches and we were there. I don't know if it was Revolution or if it was the Dynamite that we attended.
I think it was Dynamite.
Where they had that last match.
Right.
And there was some stipulation to it. I don't remember what it was. It makes it a little bit more exciting to kind of end it. And that's kind of how they're doing it here. So it's like you're getting the Texas death match, which I looked into. It looks like it is the same rules like you were saying
3
before.
3 count and 10 count.
Uh-huh.
It's going to be a good match. I mean, there's no other way to put it. But I'm hoping this is like an end cap on this, at least for a good long little bit. I can see them coming back to it later on, a year from now or something like that. But I think this is, we've reached max capacity on matches between the two of them. Because what are you going to do from here? These two are going to beat the hell out of each other. Either John's going to win or Hangman's going to win.
Right.
And then you're going to go back and forth about talking shit again. One of them's going to be injured. They're going to be let it go until the next pay-per-view. And we're going to do it again. Like, what are you going to do? A barbed wire exploding death match?
No,
like, I don't think
we don't go back down that road. I think we give this match about 10 to 15 minutes total. Full 100% just brawl, and just whoever at the end just barely covers the other, or like what you were saying. And this is a Texas death match, so it's a little bit different, but just barely gets the 10 count. I think both guys are going to be equally destroyed by the end of it.
I think Hangman's going to walk away with the win.
Really? I don't know why gut feeling. I just feel like John. I don't think John needs to win it. I think it would be better for Hangman for his career. And like we were talking about before, John's had a great career. If he ended tomorrow, you can put him down as having a fantastic career. Not that Hangman Adam Page hasn't, but a lot of people didn't know anything about him before AEW, but me personally. So I think this is a great way to continue that. He's a former champion.
Well, that's kind of why I think that it's going to go to Hangman.
It's a good push, but you know what? It's one of those things that just always comes back to John.
So you're going with John?
I can't help. I think WWE just pushes me to think the obvious here. I'm just going to say John Moxley.
Okay.
And to cap off the pay-per-view, we have AEW World Champion MJF versus Bryan Danielson in a 60-minute Iron Man match.
And if you have seen MJF's social media lately, he has been conditioning like no tomorrow. That man looks like he is
ribbity ripped
for an IFBB bodybuilding show.
Yes.
He looks ripped.
He does.
This match is going to be, I don't know. This one, I honestly don't know if these two guys are going to be. I know one of them is going to be able to go. I know they'll both be able to go, to be honest with you. But this
Brian's got it. But this is probably going to be the hardest match of MJF's career. I mean, that dog collar match last year at Revolution was obviously intense.
That wasn't no 60-minute match, though.
No, with Bryan Danielson.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be a knockdown drag-out, no matter what.
I mean, and this is the technical American dragon over here,
So do you think MJF's going to tame the dragon?
I mean,
is he better than him and we all know it?
I'm in a weird position in this one, too, because, okay, of course you're biased. Of course you have your feelings as to what you think might happen. But I always look at things like, what is best for business? And if we have MJF lose here, again, what the hell do we do with him?
With MJF?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I feel like you can't have him lose. He needs to win. He needs to keep going. He needs to defend the championship. But I feel like it's just so crystal clear and obvious that Bryan needs to hold the belt. But he's made it clear from the get-go that he didn't need it. He said he had no problem fighting on Dark, which is very honorable for somebody who's just an absolute legend like Bryan. Well, come in here and be like, oh, I'll fight on YouTube. I don't give a shit.
I think at this point, he just wants the belt just to get it away from MJF.
Exactly.
He's made it pretty clear that he doesn't believe that MJF's a good champion.
Right.
Not that he, wants the belt specifically, but, I mean, let's be honest, nobody's into wrestling just for, you're either in it for money or you're in it for the belt.
Right.
I mean, you can't deny that.
I don't know. And then you see the behind-the-scenes fourth wall, which is probably not so behind-the-scenes fourth wall, that MJF is having beef with Adam Cole.
Yep.
So it's seeming like that might be his next opponent.
And Adam Cole's supposed to come back in sometime this month. I can't remember. Is it next week or the week after?
I think it is at the Wednesday after Revolution.
That would make sense. And I mean, that could be the development of a new rivalry right there between the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
My gut reaction with this match, though, is I'm going to go with MJF retaining. I don't think they're going to give the belt over. I think it would be silly. I kind of agree with you, but I think that 100% I think they're going to keep it on MJF.
What a huge push for MJF.
Oh, for sure.
You were able to pull that off.
Yeah, you beat the who everybody says is the best wrestler in the world right now, Bryan Danielson.
Not like Bryan can take the loss.
And that's like universally said. Yeah. That's not just an AEW. That is like amongst 90% of wrestlers claim that Bryan Danielson is either the GOAT or is one of the GOATs.
Yeah.
And to put him,
I have to agree with that.
Yeah, and to put him over Bryan Danielson in that capacity in a world title shot, I mean, there's
no better person to put you over
for MJF.
Yeah, I think I agree with you, and I think that MJF is going to be able to retain it.
Oh yeah.
Also because I think that there's the possibility that Bryan might be fighting in Japan.
Yes,
there's also some rumors
that
he wanted to fight for a G1 and that Tony Khan might let him. Because Tony Khan came out recently and said, and it might have been that podcast, that he's okay with wrestlers working for other promotions as long as it doesn't interfere with AEW or ROH, and that it's benefiting the person that's doing it. He's totally, fine with it.
Right. I don't know which podcast it was on. Blame him for telling
John not to fight at GCW anymore, which GCW is coming to Orlando. So if you're going to that show April 22nd, see you there.
Is it April 22nd?
Look for the two awkward people who aren't talking.
Yeah.
April 22nd.
They've already confirmed Nick Gage to be there.
Yeah.
And Masha Slamovich. They've announced a couple other people. I can't remember off the top of my head.
I believe you said Nick Wayne.
Nick Wayne will be there.
Oh, Effie.
Effie will be there.
Alley Catch.
It seems like you already know everybody that's supposed to be there.
The crew, you know, when you say GCW, I just feel like Effie and Alley Catch are just like right in there.
Right.
So.
Right. So yeah, we'll be catching. I'm sure a little spatter of blood here and there. So we'll have to bring
third row. I don't know what we were thinking.
Want to have some fun. Want to get the full experience of GCW. But before we get to GCW, which is like I said, a month and a half, we got to get through AEW Revolution. That's going to be Sunday night tonight at I think 7 p.m. on.
If you're starting at the pre-show,
it's on
7
YouTube.
p.m. Eastern,
and then
starting on YouTube.
I'm sure the pay-per-view will start on at 8 o'clock. Bleacher Report, Fight TV.
Oh, yeah. And it always starts like right on the dot. So get your stuff ready. Highly suggest, just from personal experience, if you're doing Bleacher Report, I'm not shitting on them, but sometimes it just doesn't work. Buy your pay-per-view in advance.
Oh, that means
get all that stuff ready.
I still haven't done it.
Yeah. Buy the pay-per-view in advance. Get the page ready. Get everything ready to go.
And
make sure it works so that when 8 o'clock starts, I'm telling you, they don't hesitate.
Get the pay-per-view and then get the pre-show on there, then you know it works. But while we're on this topic,
just do yourself a favor.
You and I had this conversation, and
sure,
I know this is a common practice with a lot of wrestling fans out there. If you stream these pay-per-views, I'm going to call everybody out, and I used to do it, so I'll call myself out. If you stream these pay-per-views without paying for them, you are not supporting the products that you are claiming you are supporting. And I know a lot of these neckbeard asshats on the internet wrestling fucking community.
And obviously, I mean, we don't know everybody's personal
No,
circumstances.
of course not. Everybody's going to have their financial
tomorrow
issues
because you want to watch Revolution.
But if you got the money, if you've got the capabilities, if you have the wherewithal, fucking buy the goddamn pay-per-view. Like,
you're supporting families,
these people. Like,
you're supporting dreams.
Yeah, whether you, I don't know. I just get so tired of people, I'm not going to watch this pay-per-view because of this one match. Bullshit. Mm-hmm. If you're that vocal about it, I know you're going to be sitting there with a Reddit, WWE streams on Reddit trying to figure out a stream on Streamlabs trying to watch that shit.
What a shame. Don't let one thing that you think's not going to be a good thing ruin a good time.
Yeah, right.
Here's what we do. Take our advice.
Just enjoy wrestling.
Fresh pot of coffee. Necessary, okay?
Oh, yes.
Brew your fresh pot of coffee. Get everything ready to go. Snacks. Must have. Pre-made. We're doing nachos. We got the whole idea going. Get everything ready. Get the pay-per-view going.
Dig yourself a nice hole into your couch.
Yeah. And just enjoy the show, man.
Yeah, just
There's
enjoy wrestling.
There's a lot of really good things there. Yeah. Have a good time.
I don't necessarily agree with a lot of the major promotions' decisions on what they do, but at the same time, I try to enjoy every product as a wrestling fan.
It's as Willow says, nothing matters. Smile anyway.
Right. All right, so I think that'll wrap up our AEW Revolution predictions. It's on, like I said, it's 7 pre-show, 8 o'clock is the bell time for
Eastern time.
Eastern. Yep. So follow us at CAW Wrestling Pod on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, where all of our podcasts are transcribed into videos and posted there. We also tweet and trying to get a little bit on Instagram every Raw, SmackDown, Dynamite, and Rampage and ROH. We live tweet as much as we can, so join us on there.
Please do us a favor if you have a moment. If you're on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, give us a 5-star review. That really means a lot. Share it with a friend. If you have a moment, screenshot this, share it on social media, and tag us. We will definitely do our best to shout you out. We really appreciate you guys on social media. It's been awesome, the amount of love and support we've gotten there. So thank you guys for that.
And if you want to follow us on our own social media, I am at Gump Dudley.
And I'm at A Bacon Party.
We thank you again for joining us for this episode, and we will see you in the next one.